Good afternoon, everybody. Well, what we're here today for is to learn about mediation and what mediators do and what mediators are all about. And when you complete this course, what you will be in the state of Texas and in whatever state that you're taking this course from, you will meet the qualifications to be a mediator in your state. We're going to talk more about that later, about what those qualifications might be in Texas and in other states. But this is a two-part program. The first part, obviously, is going to be the lecture that you're participating in today. The second part will be the on-site role play, where there will be a little bit more lecture and there will be hands-on role play interaction, so that you can actually get some experience in the mediation process. First of all, what I'd like to do is, I think I've already been introduced on this tape. My background is that I'm a federally certified arbitrator and a nationally certified mediator. I've conducted over 860 mediations and about 60 arbitrations. I have about a 96-97% settlement rate, which is really kind of irrelevant. But somehow or another, people like to keep score, and that's one of those things that's easy to track. I got started in the mediation business kind of by accident. I've always been able to talk very well and get people to listen to me, and to listen to people, which is a sign of a good mediator, the ability to have people think that you're listening to them. And it's that's one of the key factors of being a mediator. And I knew that at some point, and this was back in the early 80s, that when I grew up and I got older and grayer than I am now, that I didn't want to be a greeter at Walmart. And so mediation seemed like something that I might be good at, and it turned out that I've been fairly successful at it. So anyway, what my goal is here today is to teach you and give you tools to use so that you can become your own mediator, so that you can become the best mediator that Byron can be, and the best mediator that Layla can be, not Dr. Gary Lacefield mediators. One of the advantages to have done so many mediations over the course of my lifetime is that I've screwed up a lot. And so one of the things that you will learn from this course are things not to do. And many times I'll give you examples of why not to do this, and because it either didn't work for me or it was something that created a less of an opportunity to reach a resolution. So what I'd like to do now is to starting here with Byron, if you would, you folks would introduce yourselves and let us know, give us your name and your occupation, and why you want to take this course.
My name's Byron. I'm a police officer, and I'm taking a mediation class to learn a little bit about mediation and how I can effectively communicate with people.
Okay, thank you. Lisa?
My name is Lisa, and I'm a mom, and I want to learn about mediation because I'm interested in dispute resolution and in the law field and things like that.
Okay, good, thank you.
I'm Victor. I'm a retired physician. I practiced medicine in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for about 35 years. I retired about a year and a half ago. I got tired of retirement, and most of my life I've done some type of mediation with patients, and I always liked it. I like people, and I thought this is something I'd like to do. So I'm going to try my hand at it.
Good, thank you.
Hi, I'm Raymond, and I'm retired as well, somewhat, not really, but I'm about to retire. I've been on State Farm for 19 years as a claims manager and instructor, and I've been asked to partner in a mediation arbitration firm. I used to teach mediation arbitration when I was a little bit younger and very interested in it, and we're going to, as Victor's going to try to just jump in my feet first, I guess.
Okay. My name's Dwayne, and I'm a school psychologist, and I'm going to work for him.
Somewhat.
You said you're a school psychologist. What grade level?
All grades, 3 to 21. So work for a public school system in Texas.
And there's conflict in public schools?
Yeah, I won't be doing mediation probably in public schools, but we'll be doing this as private, more of a private issue.
Okay. And before we leave the front row up here, Raymond, my first paid mediations was from State Farm. They had called. I was working at a volunteer agency, getting experience, and the State Farm, I guess, regional supervisor called and asked if only I could do their mediations. And of course, as in a volunteer area, you don't. It's the luck of the draw. You don't get to choose who your mediator is. And so they asked for my home number. I gave permission to give it. They called me, and for almost a year, on Saturdays at 8 o'clock in the morning and at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I did two mediations for State Farm, and resolved almost 100% of them. And there was a double benefit because, well, State Farm paid both parties part of the mediation fee, and but when all you do is personal injury mediations, it kind of got a little bit old. But anyway, that was my start.
We're hoping to diversify a little bit, as Dwayne was saying. We're involved in family law as well,
Okay.
and we're from not a small community, but about 200,000 people, and there's really a need for it in that area. And we have some judges that, their dockets are full with family law cases that they need mediators. Fortunately, I asked Dwayne if he'd be interested. And
Okay.
here we are.
Actually, we're going to talk more about that later because the second course is the advanced family. In most states, you have to have an additional 26 to 30 hours of mediation training to do any case having to do with the parent-child relationship, or typically divorce cases. And so maybe we'll see you in that training later on. Thank you. Carrie.
Hi, my name is Carrie, and I'm here to learn more about the mediation process and all about mediation as much as possible.
Okay, thank you. Osana.
My name is Osana. I work in economic development for a local municipality. I've always been interested in the mediation field, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to apply some of the skills and tactics that I learned here in my economic development field, and when we're in negotiations with developers and such.
Okay, so working with developers and people in the real estate.
Right, and
then-
keeping our elected officials happy as well. So
And there's conflict with elected officials?
every once in a while.
No, just the city council, right? Okay, thank you, Osana.
My name is Teal, and I'm a family counselor, and I deal with plenty of conflict, and I thought it'd be good to learn the techniques of mediation because I'm kind of doing that already.
I'm Terry, and I'm a contract paralegal. Been interested in mediation for a couple of years. I've worked for several divorce attorneys and participated in a couple of mediations, and just thought I'd like to get more involved in it.
Okay, so are your goals to do family mediation or to mediate between the attorneys?
Both.
I'm Sonny, and I'm a lawyer, and I want to redirect my practice to work as a neutral as opposed to an advocate. So I'm interested in the mediation, in your family law mediation.
Okay, good, thank you. What's your major practice right now?
Right now, I'm training police officers. I was an Irving's lawyer for several years before I left and went back into private practice.
Okay, good, thank you. Glad to have you in the class.
Thank you.
I'm Kay, and I am a teacher in a discipline alternative program. I teach conflict resolution, anger management, self-discipline, grades 6 through 12, and this is just seems natural for me to do.
My name is Cynthia, and I worked for the Southwest Conference for 25 years until they decided that they weren't going to be in existence anymore because of a hostile takeover with the Big 8. And so, and by this time I was too old and nobody really wants me, so I decided that I would semi-retire. And so that's what I have done, and I work part-time at Barnes & Noble, and I thought this would really be interesting since my daughter and a friend of hers, we know somebody that had a mediator come to help through a divorce, and it was the wildest thing I'd ever heard of in my life, and I thought this might be a lot of fun. So that's why.
My name is Kelly. I'm retired from the FAA. I was an air traffic controller and manager in the FAA, which puts you in a position of doing mediation almost all the time. And I enjoyed learning about relationship subjects and dealing with personalities. And so when I retired, I got a degree in counseling and did marriage and personal counseling for a while, and this just seems to be a logical extension of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover between counseling and mediation, but you have to realize that when you're a mediator, you're not a counselor, and so you kind of have to forget about those types of things. It's just like when you're an attorney. One of the most difficult things for an attorney to do is to forget they're an attorney when they're a mediator, because you can't practice law and be a mediator in the same setting. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why I believe that you should not be a subject matter expert to do most mediations. Okay, we'll talk more about that in just a minute. Okay, thank you.
My name is Ralph. I'm a lawyer, worked for the IRS for 30 years. I was in the estate and gift tax, and I was the group manager for 18 years, and one of my main functions was to mediate between the attorneys in my group and the attorneys that we worked for on the outside. We taxed the rich people in estate and gift tax, and so we dealt with some of the top attorneys in the area. And so I've mediated, I guess, from that standpoint for 18 years. So I retired several years ago. I was on the Appraisal Review Board in Tarrant County. I've written a couple books, one of which is published. I've got plenty of copies out in the car. If anybody wants any, I'd be glad to autograph them as we leave. On Abraham Lincoln, which is unrelated to, of course, my profession. I've written another book, which I haven't found a publisher for yet, which is an even better book. If anybody's in the publishing business, let's talk. But I don't want to sit around and do nothing, and I've always enjoyed meeting people. That was the main thing about the Appraisal Review Board. And that's the main thing I miss about not working for the government, is just not meeting people, not being with people as much as I was. And I think I've got something to contribute in this area. Would like to work until I'm too old to stand up.
Okay, so you got another 50, 60 years left, easily.
My grandmother lived to be 101. My dad's going strong at 92, so I've got plenty of years to go.
Good. Well, I'm glad we've got a couple of attorneys in the room, and unlike most mediators who fear attorneys, I want attorneys present. I want attorneys as part of the mediation process, because even though I may, just because of the volume of cases I've done, I know just enough law to make myself dangerous in certain areas, but I don't want to be practicing law. But what I do want is the parties to have representation, so that I can ask them questions to help them bring reasonableness back to the table. Because many times, and I know I'll repeat this again later, the attorneys have probably been telling their clients the very same thing in their office, but their clients haven't been listening to them because they want their day in court. Well, the deal is you really don't truly get your day in court. And so you ask the attorneys questions about how they think this might go, and that gives the attorney the opportunity to restate or to clarify things in the mediation session, things that he already has told his client a dozen times. And so now the client is saying, oh yeah, well that makes sense. And so the attorney is your friend, okay? I can count on one hand the number of times that attorneys, tried to disrupt the mediation session. But there's been lots of other fields of folks that have messed up mediations more than attorneys have, trust me. A couple of you said that you're housewives. It's been my experience as a co-mediator, and I've done many matter of fact, the model that we will teach here is the co-mediation model. I teach that model for a variety of reasons. First of all, most of the volunteer opportunities in this region, they use the co-mediation model. And by co-mediation, what that means is instead of having a single mediator, you have two mediators sitting side by side, conducting the mediation session. One may take the lead, one may not. You don't really have a lead mediator and a non-lead mediator. But the co-mediation, first of all, it's very advantageous, especially in the family cases where I used to could always say that you would have a husband and wife divorcing. Of course, it looks like that might be changing, where now there might be same-sex partners, but that'll probably be way down the road. But you need the two perspectives. You need the perspective of a male and a female so that they're equally represented at the table. And every divorce mediation I've ever done, I did in the co-mediation model. The co-mediation model also gives you the opportunity to train lesser experienced mediators. And it gives them the feel of sitting right in the line of fire, and they may never say anything, which hopefully they don't, but it gives them the opportunity to feel the same pressure, to understand to be a part of the session, to understand exactly what's going on. And so there are lots of good reasons to do the co-mediation model. But in my experience with all different lines of work, co-mediating with attorneys, co-mediating with almost every field that you can think of, the one field that seemed to be the most experienced, the most patient co-mediators would be what field, would you think? What field, Byron, would you think?
First guess would be law.
Would be law?
Uh-huh.
That would be?
Probably police.
Police? Police have patience. Police have patience, but police also have other alternative dispute resolution methodologies that sometimes may not be as preferred, such as a nightstick or a weapon.
To one party, yes, sir.
Other guesses? Housewife, perfect guess, perfect guess. Housewives, well, first of all, housewives typically have raised 3 kids and a husband, so they've got lots of experience with dealing with conflicts at all levels, okay? And so my own philosophy is education level is really irrelevant in the mediation process. Whether you have a GED or you have a doctorate, as several of us do in here, your education level really has nothing to do with your ability to deal with people, has nothing to do with your ability to listen to people, has nothing to do with your ability to think about how we can help these people resolve their problems without telling them what to do. And that's what we want to focus on here today, and in the next couple of days, is to talk about how we can help people solve their own problem.